You like comic books? Nerd. I like comic books too. The A Show.
Where smart is the new sexy.
And now, April Hunter.
Hello, all you beautiful, smart people. What's up? Hi, Ray. How are you doing?
Can't breathe.
I know. I heard that. I heard we have your background is very appropriate for what's happening right now. And for those of you who are not following along, apparently there are wildfires in Canada, and the pollution and smoke has basically engulfed New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and is moving through the United States and is affecting everybody pretty badly. So Ray is in the thick of it, right?
Oh, it's really thick outside. The sky is right now like a grayish orange.
Yeah, my friend's sister sent a picture of the sky up in Pennsylvania, and I guess the sun or the moon, whatever's going on right now, is bright orange.
Yeah, so. It's pretty fucking crazy. But it's weird. It's pretty difficult to breathe. I was doing a lot of work in and out of the building that I work in last night for hours and hours. And long story short, I woke up. I couldn't stop sneezing. The inside of my nose is like all freaking dried out and gross. My eyes feel like they're burning. So I look and feel like shit, but I'm happy to be here.
You look lovely. At least you have a good excuse. I'm just tired.
I'm tired too, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Wow, we got a lot of people who jumped.
Awesome. I want to say hi to everybody. I see Winona and Eva, cool, awesome dude, Allie, AB Twitch, Alex. What's up? Bigwig. Hey, nice to see you guys all here. So I wanted to say thank you. Because a lot of people came out to see me this weekend at my appearance up in Leesburg, Florida. So Thank you. Bigwig was one of them. He took a long ass drive. It was like 6 hours, but it actually turned into 8 hours. Thank you for coming to see me. Thank you to those of you who do come to see me at my appearances. I don't do a whole lot of them anymore, so it's really great to see people when I have them. So thank you. And so today we're going to talk about a couple of things, but we're also going to have on Roland Mann. Mm-hmm. So Roland, you can I don't know if you want to do that introduction, but Roland is a former editor of Marvel Comics. Mm-hmm. He has written a bunch of amazing comics and graphic novels of his own, and he is the editor and owner of Silverline Comics. So in addition to that, he is a Full Sail University professor on the history of comics.
Wrestling. Oh.
Which comics and wrestling go kind of hand in hand. So good versus evil, wrestling, action, nasty politics, all that stuff goes, in there. So he kind of fits right in here. So he'll be joining us in not too distant of the future. But we're going to talk about a couple of interesting things that have been going on this week. There's always something interesting going on, right?
Hey, can I mention something really quick off the bat? For people who are, I know this isn't a wrestling show, but I just wanted to give a shout out to the Iron Sheik, who just passed away today. I don't know if you heard about that, at the age of 81.
I didn't hear about that.
Wow,
I've been very secluded today.
Well, for those who don't know who the Iron Sheik is, he's a professional wrestler, wrestled for Vince McMahon in the WWF, WWE. And, the guy had kind of a resurgence in his career. He became more than a pro wrestling legend. He became a pop culture icon.
Yes, he did.
And I met him. And I got called Bubba, and I had him, and he grabbed my face and my cheeks, and he slapped my face because I was hanging out with Bill Apter. He says, "Fuck this guy, Bill," and that's literally what he says. Yeah, fuck you, Bill. And they were hugging each other, and he kissed me on the cheek, and it was wonderful. And I'm not even kidding you. He was so nice. He
was nice, and he was very prolific with the F words, and it's very graphic. I'll fuck you in the ass.
Oh yes. Fuck, I put you in the camera clutch. I fuck your ass, and I make you humble.
Yes. And he was doing this like how many years ago? 50 years ago?
Oh.
Yeah.
A long time, brother.
He was also an Olympic athlete. He was an Olympic wrestler.
Oh yeah, gold
So,
medalist.
gold
Wasn't he?
medalist, I believe. So
Gold
he
medalist,
was legit.
Olympian. Yeah,
Legit athlete. He could legit put you in a camel clutch and fuck you in the ass if he wanted to. So
and making you humble.
And make you humble. And Ali is saying his Twitter was hilarious, 100%. And that's, I think, what contributed to his resurgence as he got older, is he was so funny and so in your face that people just, appreciate it. He never shied away from anything. He never played the politically correct card. He just bleh.
And he could get away with it. And for people that actually knew him and worked with him, I don't know, man. I don't know how. He's an acquired taste, but I found him to be incredibly endearing. And rest in peace,
baby.
Shiki baby.
Baby.
What a freaking legend, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he definitely was.
So 81, not a bad. I take 81. That's a pretty decent run.
Well, considering that he actually lived, you know what I mean?
He had a hard life too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's well documented.
He went places and did things.
Listen, it's well documented that he was all over the place. He used drugs. He used alcohol. He had, I mean, he wasn't really good. It was his nephews, if I'm correct, that got him to develop this outlandish persona, and then they controlled a lot of his social media, putting him out there and helping him, go all these conventions, cleaning him up and doing that stuff. So, big shout out to his family. I'm going to advise you something. For you guys and you guys out there, you don't have to be a wrestling fan. There's a documentary. It might be on Netflix called Sheik. It's about the Iron Sheik, and it's actually really, really good. And it breaks down everything. You see his downfall and his rise, and it takes him through years of his life. And God bless him, man. I'm big fan of the Iron Sheik. So rest in peace to the pipe. Why do I keep saying pipe bomb?
I have no idea.
What's going on here? I'm excited to have our guest on, Mr. Roland Mann.
I am too. I saw him this weekend. So he's one of the people. Okay, so I took his class, and it was a very hard class. You don't realize how difficult writing and doing comics is. I mean, just the lettering alone is an art unto itself, and we'll probably talk about this. And of course, you have the Silver Age, the Gold Age, the Bronze Age, and I'm doing them out of order there. But you have all these comic ages with so much going on where things change dramatically. And for us, we had to know all of that. And his class was very, very difficult. And there was so much to learn and so much to read. So it's not just comics, it was graphic novels. So we had to, V for Vendetta and, everything. So it was interesting to me that he could keep up with his classwork and teaching and publishing books and doing appearances and signings.
That's him, by the way.
And I was struggling. So he could do it. I couldn't. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Art is not easy, especially making, I think to be an artist is possibly one of the hardest things to make a really good living at.
I don't know if that's the case anymore.
You don't think so?
It's just you have to do so much, though. I mean, you are basically you're dealing with so much. You're dealing with customers and orders and social media and hey, Demon, what's up? How are you? How are you? And Lore and everybody coming in. Hi, and Chuck, Red Sunny, thank you for being here. If I'm missing any of you, I'm sorry. But yeah, when you're self-employed and you're doing something in a creative way, you're keeping up your sites, your Instagram, your Patreon, your whatever it is you're doing, your Etsy, you're filling orders, you are dealing with emails, you are taking, custom orders, you're going out there and trying to get booked for, conventions and things like that or markets. And it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So you're trying to find other outlets in which to make money. It's just a lot. So
did you know that I went to the High School of Art and Design?
I did not know that.
Did you know that I'm actually I'm an artist? Like I can draw.
I did not know that.
I just don't like. So I went to school for graphic arts, and I just never. Hear this out. I have the skill. I just don't have any love for it. Like I'm really fucking good. I have no love for it, and I could never make a career out of it because I couldn't see myself ever, doing this for a living. I don't. I don't enjoy. So how much does that suck? Now my son has the same skill, so he's going to school for something very similar, but he loves it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so he has he has. I think he's better than me.
There's
actually.
Roland. Oh, he needs a link. So when we're ready, so don't forget to send
I
it to him.
did email him. I linked him with you.
Oh, look in your email, Mr. Man.
Yeah, it should be there. If not, I'll resend it, or I can send it to him on any other platform he wishes. But anywho, but yeah,
so
man,
I was going to say a couple other things we wanted to touch on today before we are joined. Well, let's see. One is we'll talk about the Ring camera that just came. Some information that came through with that. Apparently, there's going to be sex Olympics.
Oh, let's do it. Let's go. I'm a little old, but I can still go, bro.
And a way to burnout versus recharging. So the Ring camera, it just came out. This will be a brief one. If you have a Ring camera, it came out that pretty much every Amazon employee can access your Ring information. Now, of course, they use a picture of a baby, but they weren't going to use a picture of somebody masturbating in their bedroom. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's hot.
So if you have a Ring camera, and I've been saying this for years, you don't want to have a smart house. You don't want to have a smart anything. You don't want to have Ring cameras. You don't want to have Alexa and Siri. You don't want to have that. You're giving people access. So, awesome, Roland.
Beautiful.
So,
what's a spam?
Yeah.
I love spam.
Yeah, I know, fried on a sandwich. Hey. So you want to be a little careful. We hand over our privacy for the sake of convenience under the I don't know if it's actually we're convinced that we're in danger and there's terrible people around all the time, but I'm not sure that's actually the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're actually safer than we've ever been.
You think so?
I do.
Yeah. Why would you think that we're safer?
Because compared to the 70s and 80s, people our water is safer, our air has been safer. Now, obviously not today, but in general, the crime is down, shootings are down, everything is down compared to where it was in the 70s and 80s. So yeah, gun violence is down. You would not know that because we have a 24-hour news cycle. And they have to fill time, and train wrecks sell better than good news stories. But, they got to appease their advertisers. So bad news. Oh, yeah. Even saying in the 90s, too. So we continually have crime dropping, violent crime. But you would not know this because they just inundate us with fear and terror all the time, which is one of the things we're going to cover. I think next week we need to talk about menticide and mass psychosis, which is when they keep us in a state of fear, terror, anxiety all the time, how easy it is to manipulate us and get us to do whatever they want.
It's funny because I kind of did like a tongue-in-cheek tweet that now they're gonna, because now they're gonna all, what's the word? Because they want us, they're really promoting mask again.
Yeah.
And I put out like a tweet saying, "Oh, here we go again with the mask. One way or another, they're gonna say," and I'm just getting attacked, and I fucking love it.
Don't worry about it. These people. If somebody wants to wear a mask, be happy, but don't tell everybody else they got to do it. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing people I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
I know.
By the way,
Steve.
When Roland comes in, I have something set up for him, so I'll give him an intro. So he's working. He's currently with.
Oh, sorry. Laura Orr says I don't own anything smart. I have like an assistant with cameras. I have a 45, a shovel, no worries. And cool, awesome dude. Thank you for the Corgos.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man.
Yeah, we Twitch on Twitch for our bits. We do some titties for some biddies.
Boobies.
Marvelous Wolf. Hello. Trick Shot.
Sorry.
Top Wolf Automotive. Hey, it's Don. I see you, Don. What's up? Artist Returns. So there is. Let me read this to you guys. If you haven't heard, the sport of the future. A Swedish strip club owner started a sex league that will feature 20 people from different countries competing in various categories.
I saw that.
Yes.
And I applied for it, but I got rejected.
Yeah, I keep checking my mailbox. I have not gotten an invitation.
So this sex Olympics gimmick here.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me is that we're gonna be able to like do it like or like for medals and stuff finally.
I guess so. There are different categories. So I'm trying to find those categories in which, let's see.
What's the- like,
I
I wonder what the long jump. I wonder what the long jump's gonna be like.
Oh,
Anyone?
I'm telling you.
No.
So yeah, I had it for a while. I lost it, but yeah, there's gonna be different categories, and one is gonna be like tantra, I
The
think,
pole vault.
and stroking and massage, and
No.
it's gonna be Can you imagine?
Mm.
So
The
sex Olympics, and I wonder if it's gonna be televised.
oh, it's gotta be televised. You know how much money?
He was asking if there's gonna be one for pegging.
Sponsored by
There has to be.
OnlyFans.
I know,
Was it?
right? Clips for sale.
Oh my god! Can you imagine?
Laura says he's been training for weeks.
Oh yeah.
On
And
pegging?
instead of having like a marathon, they have like a marathon orgy, like the last
Yes.
person standing.
Oh my god.
That is amazing. I love it. So real quick before Roland jumps in, he actually is working with what company right now?
He has
Silverline, right?
his own. It's his own comic company called Silverline Comics.
So he's the owner and founder of Silverline.
Absolutely.
All right, I gotta put that. Oh, we got to cheer for him. And
Yeah.
speaking of the angel, because I'm not gonna call him a devil, but ladies and gentlemen, he is a writer, a professor, a father, Christian son, husband, editor, and former Marvel and Malibu comics editor. And currently, he is the owner and founder of Silverline Comics. Ladies and gentlemen, is the one, the only, Roland Mann.
What's up?
I don't have an echo gimmick, so that's the best I can do, brother.
You just got to fake it, right?
Yeah.
Well,
welcome.
I like
Oh,
the
thank you so
Christian
much.
thing. That was cool.
So what's up tonight?
What's going
Oh
on?
man, we're just
I'm wondering
we're
if
just hanging out.
I'm wondering if I'm going to have to renew my ESPN subscription.
I know, right? I'm thinking it's not going to be televised on that particular
Probably
channel.
not.
You know, maybe
It'll
something
probably
like,
be
I don't.
ESPN X.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, HBO, which is now Max, apparently they're a little
Right.
cutting edge. Maybe they would do it.
The extra X is for extra
Yeah.
sex. Yeah.
Right.
They've got ESPN, and there's ESPN2, there's ESPN U, there's ESPN.
I got it, dude. Remember how they had ESPN in the movie, the ESPN the Ocho? ESPN 69.
Oh, you know that a whole bunch of reporters now are lining up to go ahead and do documentaries around all of that. They're like, can you please fly me to Sweden? I want to film all the outtakes and the behind the scenes and
Oh my
do
gosh.
all of that. It's got to be great.
The bloopers.
Oh my god, I can just imagine the bloopers. Yeah, so someone was telling me once there was a guy. I'm just gonna go and do this one. There was a guy who in LA. He was in the porn business, and he was at my friend's gym, and he was telling everybody his wife was an adult performer, so he was filming a scene for his wife and whoever she was with, and he was trying to get up close for the money shot. And apparently he got, this was before, I guess, Zoom or whatever, he got a little too close. Some of it got into his eye. He didn't think anything of it, right? Well, it turns out he got chlamydia in his eye.
No way. Oh no.
So he got, I didn't know you could get chlamydia in your
How do
eye.
you get
but all
eye-
of a
I
sudden-
didn't either.
How do you get
Oh my-
eye herpes? That's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
my
Oh
God.
man.
Is there a
Yeah.
cream for that? Like, what do you?
I don't know.
Well,
But
you're
I
gonna
wouldn't-
have to follow up then, young
Right,
lady.
I know. So, yeah.
Next time he goes into film, he's dressed in one of those astronaut suits,
Yeah, biohazard.
with the new Apple goggles on,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
looking all weird and stuff. Anyway,
Don't say you guys don't learn anything on the A show. You just learned something new. So,
I'm so excited to have a professional, real dude that makes awesome comics. I kid you
appreciate
not.
it.
I kid you
Yeah,
not.
It's I like to tell folks, I worked for Malibu professionally before working for Marvel, but the cool thing was when Marvel bought us. This goes back to the days of paper checks, right? When Marvel bought us, my first check when I got it, it had Spider-Man on it, right? And I'm like,
oh wow,
yeah. I was
awesome.
like, how cool is that? Spider-Man is on my paycheck.
And then the government shot a web and took half of it back, right?
Right? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's so true.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but no, it was pretty cool.
Well, you're cool, number one, and I was telling April that because I went to art and design here in New York City, so I can appreciate an excellent artist. My son's going to fashion,
Cool.
So we're all artists. April is an artist, and I just love I love the looks of comics. I've always grown up loving comics. I was a big fan of Thor, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
Oh, man, yeah.
I mean the classics, X-Men, Wolverine. One of my favorite comic series was the Infinity Gauntlet series. That's what actually,
yep.
You know what I'm talking about, bro.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't read comics in years.
Shame on you.
I know. I fell off.
Make him read John a Man, the Amazing Man. Make him read that whole series.
What is
like
that?
So here's the thing about it, right? So a lot of people, and not you though, because you have reading experience, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, when they think of comics, they think of them only as Spider-Man and Batman and Flash and Wonder Woman with all the spandex, right? Now those exist and I love them, right? I love superhero comics, but there's so much more than that. If you're a fan of horror, there are plenty of horror comics out there that will give you your feel of blood and guts if that's what you want. There's science fiction comics out there. There's fantasy comics. There's not so many romance and westerns these days, but they're still out there if you look for them. So I always say, when someone, so I don't think I said this. So I don't know if April has told you or not how she and I met.
No.
Right. Yeah. I'll let her tell the story.
What's going on?
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
All right. So April has her degree in creative writing. You probably know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was one of her instructors.
No.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
It was one of the hardest classes I had.
That's awesome.
Prolific,
So where was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that.
All the types of comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the things that sometimes happens in my class is someone will come in the class and they'll have an added. Now April didn't have this, but so one every 3 months somebody will come in. Well, I used to read comics, but I outgrew them.
No.
So my question to them is like, okay, well I understand that. So at what age are you going to outgrow television? What? What do you mean? Well, you outgrew comics, which is a format. It's a medium. Mm-hmm. It's not a, you say I outgrew Scooby-Doo. Fine. I get that. Whatever. But you're saying you outgrew comics. So at what age do you outgrow television? Well, I think you can watch television. Okay, good. You can do the same thing with comics, but and I didn't say it quite in this language, but I said, but you're being an idiot because the only thing that you're remembering are the comics that you read as a kid. So you're saying you outgrew comics. There are comics I will not show a kid, right? Mm-hmm. I just won't. They're. I mean, there's hard R-rated comics. There are X-rated comics. You can get anything in comics that you want as far as content, in the same way you can get it in television and film. And so when someone says I outgrew comics, I just have to laugh at them because I'm like, yeah, you're just being stupid now.
Absolutely. Well, I review wrestling, so
cool.
It's kind of like the same universe, if you think about it.
Sure. So April probably knows my buddy John Crowler, who is he does a lot of, he writes wrestling a lot comics. Of wrestling comics. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now it's funny because and I've asked April to forgive me multiple times for this, but I'm not a wrestling. I never was a wrestling person, right? I never really watched wrestling. So I still remember we were probably at least 2 weeks in, maybe 3 weeks in one of our classes, and someone says, "Don't you know who April is?" And I'm like, she's one of my students. What do you? So like, just April Hunter, and I'm like, great.
Yeah.
that's so fantastic, right? And I'm like, I have no idea, right?
Right.
And so, but after the class, I go and like, so I'm like, well, let me Google. This guy was like acting like I was an idiot for not knowing this. So I go and Google. I'm like, holy crap! April Hunter, right?
Isn't that the best?
But
really
I never
is,
tell anybody. I never in class. I never said what I do. But I thought it was funny.
You didn't.
I was just there to be a student.
Yeah.
But I had a transmedia class, right? And I needed something drawn because I was my campaign was around the cat, so I didn't know what to do. So Alex Saviak did all my drawings for me. So I was like, I guess I'm the only student who might have like Alex Saviak doing
Mr. Spider-Man artist, right?
Yeah.
You start dropping names like Alex Saviak. I'm like, wait, what? It's like, yeah. So
like,
it's
who
funny
drew your
because,
thing? I'm like, Alex Saviak.
yeah, right. Yeah. And the thing about it is, comic book geeks know exactly who you're talking about. You mentioned that. People outside of that are like, yeah, who's he? You know,
Mm-hmm.
It's like you drop his name, and I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. So John will tell me, hey, Roland, I just had this conversation with I'm going to do a comic book with, you know, doing the Beastie Boy Beetle bum things, and I'm like.
No idea.
Like, you don't know him? I'm like, dude, I remember Jerry Lawler from when I was a kid and Hulk Hogan. That's really all I know.
Let me tell you something, brother. Jerry Lawler.
Let me tell you something.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Jerry Lawler is an incredible comic book artist. Do you know that?
Yeah.
No, I did not know. I knew he was a comic book fan, but I didn't know he was an artist.
Oh, he did.
Oh,
he's good.
Do me a favor. When you have a chance, I need you to Google Jerry the King Lawler comic book art.
I'm making a note of it.
Please do that. And if you ever, this guy is not good, right? April,
he's very good.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He is pretty incredible. Dark Side Casters jumped in. We have a nice stacked group of people. And by the way, we had a whole bunch of corgis, so I have to throw out the
we had corgis. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your biddies. Yeah, we do titties for biddies there.
Yeah, titties for biddies. And this is April's favorite.
If you're gonna do it, you should at least make her full screen. I mean,
I can do that. This is April's favorite soundbite.
And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
She
I
loves
don't like that one.
Yeah. So did you are you familiar with the I think the campaign just finished. Mindy and Mike Wheeler just did a campaign for their comic book called Boobs. Just BOOBS.
I gotta look this up.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the O's in boobs are of course boobs.
Wow.
I'm looking at it. Boobs Comics?
Yes. Boobs by I think his name is Mike. Mindy is the artist, so she's the one that but I think it's Mindy and Mike Wheeler.
Did
you find it?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of things are popping up, my friend.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let me find the link for you.
That'll be great.
And I'll send it to you.
Because I got boobs in comics. Is there anything I can actually look up so I can pop it up? But by the way, while I do that really quickly, ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to head over to Twitter if you have an opportunity, and I'm going to ask you to give our friend here a follow as I pull up his page. You're going to follow him at Man. That's with 2 N's because he's an extra man. Man Roland. You can see his beautiful Twitter account.
Amazing man. His
super cool profile picture here. All right. So again, guys, at Man Roland. So what could I actually look up so I can pull something?
I just sent you a link for the boobs.
Where'd you send it to me?
In the private chat here on StreamYard.
Got it. Okay.
I like that. I just sent you a link to the boobs.
I know.
Private chat.
Well, and here's the funny thing is Mindy Wheeler has embraced. She's embraced the whole thing. She goes, "Hey, you need to get your hands on a set of boobs, right?" And it's our comic, right? And
have you checked out my boobs?
That's exactly right. Have you checked out my?
Have
boobs?
you seen my boobs?
Have you seen my baseball? No, wrong movie. All right, so
that sounds like something I would do.
This is it right here.
Yeah.
I guess I have to accept my life.
You should ask your student if he still feels that he's outgrown comics.
Right. Yeah.
So is there anything I can click on? I mean, that I won't get thrown off the air for?
Well, wait
here?
a second. So you're doing a fundraiser too with
I
one of,
am.
with one of my former classmates that I partnered
Ooh,
with,
I
right?
have that here.
I
Hold on.
am. Let me
No,
get. I will send you that link.
I actually have it already here. I should.
Oh, you do?
Eva's asking if that's me as a blonde.
I should. Yeah. Let me just present it here.
That is not.
What's that?
Eva was asking if that's me as a blonde.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's
I'm not sure who her model was. You'd have to ask Mindy. But
well, I'm trying to. Here it
it
is.
was fun to
Okay.
watch her campaign.
This is it right here, right?
That's it. That's
All
it.
right.
Yep.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So
We launched yesterday, so we are over the halfway mark and still have 18 days to go. So
Oh wow, you
Yeah.
did good in one day.
Not bad. Hold on. I have to give
what is that we use? Oh, you have to accept cookies. Is that what that is?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
guess
Wes was in school with me,
Yes.
and he's a really good guy.
Yep.
So if anybody wants to back this Kickstarter for Roland and Wes, that would be amazing. Get them rolling.
Yeah.
The obsoletes and pendulum.
Mhm.
Yep. And Wes is the writer of Obsoletes. So Wes is one of those just all around good guys. He is super active on the alumni page on Facebook, and he's always posting jobs. He's always saying, "Hey, does anyone need some help? I'll help you. I'll help you do this.
Yeah.
I'll help you find the work." He's just all around. Yeah. So you got to play that to really see the image.
Do you mind if I do that real quick?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
A lot of background.
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise. We should have deleted
Now
that.
from eyelash, we're gonna get Red Rider and A down and out.
What am I looking at here? Okay. All right. Here we go.
It scrolled on you.
All right. Why?
Now from eyelash, we're gonna get Red Rider and A down and out.
Right now he's showing the comic book.
Yeah. So we do those little short video clips because you just can't. We've tried taking pictures of those foil covers, and they just don't look that good.
Look flat, right?
Yeah, they look flat. They look gray.
Oh wait, I could do it this way.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, but you can see how sharp that silver foil looks.
It's nice. I like that.
And so the only way you can get those silver foil editions is to back the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, those are special editions for the Kickstarter. Now you can still get the book, but the only way you'll ever be able to get those foil editions is if you back the Kickstarter editions for the campaign. So there's a couple of variant covers there for both of the comics. That's what the artwork on the inside looks like for Wes's book. And then there's the pendulum art. Whoops, you scroll back up here.
Sure.
Yeah, variant covers. Yep, that's the artwork for the obsoletes there without any letters.
Can you tell us a little bit about what the obsoletes are and who they are?
Sure. Obsoletes it's a science fiction. See, Wes actually sent me he sent me something written. So here, you can read one of this. You can read this if you want to. So, so when a group of grizzled intergalactic prospectors is accidentally thrust 20 years into the future, they're faced with a very different reality. The world they knew is unrecognizable, and their profession has changed, becoming more deadly than ever. But rather than ride off into retirement, the crew of roughnecks sets out to prove they're still the best in the game, even if they are a little obsolete.
I like it.
Yep.
Little bit of a kick there at the end.
Yeah. So they the story is essentially they kind of meet a new crew, a younger crew, and then they kind of have the younger crew kind of play antagonist to them, as the obsoletes are trying to prove they've still got what it takes to do the job. And this younger crew keep calling them, old men and stuff.
Oh, so basically it's Boomer versus Gen X.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I kind of think Wes might be feeling a little bit of his age. He had a kid recently, and
What about Pendulum? What's going on with this comic here?
So yeah, Pendulum is the story of a superhero in a midlife crisis. Essentially, this brilliant scientist has a midlife crisis, and rather than buying a sports car or taking on sports, what is the X game kind of sports,
Sure.
climbing the Himalayas or whatever, he decides to put on spandex and become a superhero and fight crime, effectively staring death in the face. And it's, he's a little depressed as he's having a midlife crisis. And so there's a lot of things that happens to him that causes him to kind of enter this whole depressed state. But ultimately, he is a superhero, and these are the things he does. He's very conflicted, very, very much in torment. It's a good read. It's a good read. It's not your straightforward superhero fare. But it's if I were to kind of, it's a little along the lines of Watchmen. It's not quite as dark as Watchmen, although it's close. Yeah.
You had me at midlife crisis.
I know, right?
Well, I think you should check in on your friend, because you said that he just had a kid and maybe he might be going through some things. And
well, now this is a different guy. Different writer. Yeah,
two friends.
Yeah. So Wes wrote The Obsolete, and John Drury is the guy who wrote and drew The Pendulum.
Got it.
So
very cool. And I was putting up. You guys have some merch there as well.
Oh yeah. So you can see So we started doing T-shirts. We always wanted to do them, but we couldn't find them where they were affordable and decent or cheap, right? And so we finally found this guy to do T-shirts, and we started it as a kind of a trial about 4 Kickstarters ago, and we absolutely love the product, and they're not outrageously expensive. So yeah, we offer T-shirts for all of our Kickstarters now. And you can get them if you don't want them for these 2 books. You can get them for the books that you might have missed. This is a small image, so I can see that you got Switchblade on there, which is the shirt that's in my corner here. You got Kalis and Divinity. What else is on there? It looks like Steam Patriots. Trumps is also on there. So you can pick up shirts from several of the projects that we've had, and they're really, really, really good shirts. We decided we're going to come up with some kind of deal. We haven't had a whole lot of the shirts taken, but probably the last Kickstarter we had 14, which is the most shirts we've had ordered on any of our campaigns. Usually I think they're around 6 to 8, something like that. But I think we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do. We're going to come up with something special where if we see someone at a convention wearing one of our shirts, we're going to give them something special. I have a friend who's a wrestler. His name is Ben Hamid, big guy. You know him, right, April? And what he does is he'll charge people $5 to slap them. You can do that.
It's a $5 face slap.
Yeah, he calls it that. I kid you not. That is.
But now because of inflation, he's charging $10 for a $5 fat face slap,
and a little more in Canada. So we have a quick question.
So we got 2 quick questions.
Sure.
I'll bring this one up real quick. You want to read this one?
Sure. It's War Demon wants to know. He says he's an aspiring comic book writer. So when it comes to writing a comic, is there a specific way that you need to write?
What a very cool question, War. So one of the things you have to think of in comics, okay, is that so I always talk about in class, right? When you're writing a novel, your audience is the reader, right? Every word you put down on the page is going to be read by the reader. When you write a television script or a film script or an animation script, they read none, right? So the consumer goes to the theater or their television, right? And they watch the screen. So they don't read any of your words. A comic script is a mesh of the two, right? So you have the text on the page that the reader reads, your word balloons, your thought balloons, your sound effects, the captions. The reader reads all of that. But then what you also have to do is you have to write descriptions for the artist, okay? So every page of a comic is made up of panels, right? So when you write a comic script, you have to describe the artwork in every single panel for the artist, okay? Now, one of my biggest frustrations is being a teacher of this very thing, War Demon. If you go and look on the internet, one of the things that you'll find on the internet, it says, when you're writing a comic script, don't write too many details. And my problem with that is that's not true. That's not correct. 9 out of 10 artists that I've ever asked about their experience in working with comic scripts, the thing that they say is the writers don't give me enough information.
Right.
And what happens is a writer goes out and says, oh, well, I'm going to treat this like a film script, which they're told not to do a lot of that in film. But a comic is not film, right? You have to give them the details. Otherwise, they don't know what to draw. Because one of the things that can happen is you can write a script, right? You might say, April goes through her morning routines, getting ready for work. She gets in her car and leaves. Okay, well, what's the problem with that?
Well, what time of day is it?
Well, what time of day is it? What's her morning routine?
Right.
What are you going to draw? If you're drawing, what are you drawing? Does she fix toast, or does she put on makeup, or does she jog? What's her morning routine?
Coffee.
Coffee.
A big fuck off bucket of coffee.
And one donut.
And one donut. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing you have to keep in mind, is that you're writing not just for the reader, you're writing for the artist as well, and they have to be able to draw what you've written.
Okay.
We have a second question here. We have one, and we have a third question. So a lot of people asking questions, but I love. What is your favorite? This is Winona, one of our favorite people. Everybody here is our favorite people, but she's one of our very favorite people.
She's one of our very original viewers, and she's been with us since we started.
Yeah,
cool.
She's old school, yo.
She needs a special badge then, right?
She gets a $5 face slap, right?
Yeah,
No,
War Demon was with us from this. Yep.
What is your favorite genre of comic book to write?
Well, I'm a kid of the 70s Marvel, 60s and 70s Marvel, more 70s than 60s. I was a little too young at the 60s to enjoy a lot of that. I am a big fan of what they call the Bronze Age superhero. And that's just that Silver Age is the 60s, when Stanley, and Jack Kirby first got the Marvel ship going. And then when it kind of moved into the hands of Roy Thomas, things kind of got perfected a little bit. I'm a big fan of that. I absolutely love writing superheroes. There's just something about the good guy trying to do good. I'm a big believer in, there's good and evil in the world. And I like to see good guys trying to, good guys, meaning good guys and gals, right? Good heroes, trying to fight the bad guys. My second favorite would be science fiction, because I absolutely love the idea of space exploration and societies on. This is why I'm a big fan of Elon. I want to go live on Mars. I've told my kids for years.
Do you like the alternate universe type thing? Parallel universes?
Well, so you mean like the multiverse, or
Rick and Morty, that type of?
Yes, I absolutely do. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the multiverse. Okay. I like alternate histories, though.
I like that too. I know what you mean.
Yes, yeah, but I'm not a big fan of the multiverse. No.
Okay.
Interesting. There was a show on Prime where I don't know if you as soon as you said it, I thought of it, where the Germans won World War II.
Oh, I remember.
I love. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? And the Germans and the Japanese split America, and they took
the Man
Japanese...
in High Castle.
Thank you. Yes.
So that's based off of a science fiction short story.
Okay. So that when you said alternate timelines and universe and alternate history, that was the first thing I thought of, because Man in High Castle was all of that.
Yes, and that's the kind of stuff I love.
I do too.
Yeah.
We have another question. This is from our boy AB Twitch 23. Alex, Roland, would you consider using, this is a very touchy subject, AI to assist you in writing comic books? And I'm going to throw in Chat GPT. What do you think?
Never. No.
Good man.
I knew it was coming.
Good freaking man.
No, never.
Why not?
But then it's not me writing it, is it? It's a computer writing it. So...
Okay.
Yeah, no. What I will say, though, is I've played with Chat GPT just a little bit. What I will say is, though, that I wouldn't say that I wouldn't use it maybe as an idea generator, right? I might throw in situations, what stories could come out of this, right? And so I could use it as sort of a bullet point idea generator, and then I would take that. Oh, that's a cool idea. I like this. I'll take it and I'll write that story. But for the actual writing of it, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. This is a loaded question.
This is a heavy hitter. Go ahead, April. Read this one, April.
What does Roland think of the past few years of where comics have went? Comics Gate, the overly political woke in all the comics, among many things, as well as changing a character story overall. And I'll add in changing, genders and race and somebody else put in that they hope that you weren't a woke person. So
well, I think you probably know me well enough to answer that. I do. I am not a woke person.
He doesn't want to go broke, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
I am not a fan whatsoever of the Marvel and DC, all this woke stuff they're doing. I'm not a fan at all.
It must crush you what they did to the Incredible Hulk.
So, and you guys probably know this. A lot of times you say something like that and people go, oh, well, you're just a racist. Then. Okay, I hear what you're saying. But what you don't understand is that when I was a kid, four of my favorite superheroes, Spider-Man, Captain America, the Falcon, who happened to be a black guy, right? And of course, the Vision, who was an android. Those are my favorite. I didn't care that the Falcon was a black guy. It never, ever bothered me at all. What bothers me about all the wokeness that's going on at Marvel and DC is the fact that they're so Marvel used to be, I don't know if you guys remember this, they used to always promote themselves as the house of ideas.
Yep.
They're no longer the house of ideas. They're the house of we're out of ideas, right? And so what they do is they take these characters and they make them a minority or female or trans or something because they have no other ideas anymore. And the thing about it is the bulk of their reading audiences doesn't want that. It's like, look, you say, okay, we need, I'm not saying this, right? But they're saying, well, we need representation. So we need a trans character. Okay. Create one.
Right. Something new.
Don't take an existing character and then say, oh, well, the Iceman, he was gay all these years. No, he wasn't. No. I read the early issues of the X-Men. He had the hots for Jean Grey just like they all did. Yeah. Right? He wasn't gay all these years.
That drives me nuts too. It's like you can start a new franchise and go any which way you want. Make all the characters trans, gay, whatever you want to do, but leave the old ones alone.
But what about also? Right. What about also? And I have to ask this before I forget. What about also? And I bring up the Incredible Hulk because he was my man. I grew up watching 80s cartoons. I remember watching the Incredible Hulk on I think it was Channel 4 NBC when I was a little kid. Yeah. It was very early, and I used to rip off my jeans, and I used to have my I kid you not, my mother got so mad at me. Anyway, and I used to jump around doing the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, I was a big kid too, but they turned him into such a puss. Now I remember there was the Gray Hulk who was more intelligent, and there was a Red Hulk, and all that stuff is cool. I get that. But the Hulk is all about.
There was a Red Thunder. There's a Red She-Hulk too, right?
Right. Yeah. Like not for nothing. The Hulk is all about the angrier he gets, the more powerful he gets. So why suck that out of him? Why turn him into what they've done?
Hulk was very much a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That's
he was bipolar. He represented bipolar disorder. He represented us very well. Thank you.
Jeez, I mean, how do you feel about that?
I'm not. Again, I'm not. To me, that's the same kind of thing as taking all the older characters and then changing them. Again, my thing is this: is that most of the readers that I know are willing to give a new character a chance, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
I've come up with this new character, and it's Spider-Man, one of Spider-Man's buddies, and they're going to be okay, cool. I'm willing to give you a chance. Not, I've taken Spider-Man and I've changed him, and Spider-Man is now a woman, and the Peter Parker that you knew is now a drunk alcoholic. Well, wait a minute now. Come on, that's not Peter Parker. That's you're just messing with things.
That's not something that actually happened, is it?
No.
Oh, you scared the shit out of me. I'm sorry.
No.
Because that would anger me.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But they do a lot of that kind of thing. They do, and part of the reason is I think that if you look at the editors. Not all of them, but if you look at a lot of the editors Marvel and DC have hired over the last 15 years, none of them like comics. they hire people from outside the industry, and they come in. And I saw an editor one time. I can't remember the book that she was going to edit. So you'll have to forgive me if I get it wrong, but I'm just going to use an example. It's like she was hired to edit Daredevil, and I read a partial interview with her. Yeah, I've never read Daredevil before in my life, and I'm going to come in and be, wait, what?
Jesus.
Why are you the editor?
It's like what they're doing with the Lord of the
editing?
Rings
And wrestling.
and wrestling.
Oh. And the You'll Shoot Your Eye Out movie, the newest one they just
they
had.
screwed that one up.
The director or the guy who did that movie never saw the originals.
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. Never saw the originals and apparently fought the actors on trying to bring back some of the stuff from the original film.
I fell asleep watching the remake.
Yeah, he said that it would never fly. People would never. He said they're not going to remember the original. Not enough people have seen it. And it's like,
I'm angry now.
It's on 24 hours a day on Christmas.
No, I have a sound.
People have seen it.
My God, I have a soundbite for that. Where is it? Here it is.
I'm serious. I'm not going to sit back and take this fucking shit.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Oh, that's the owner of All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan. He's hilarious.
Okay.
He's a very funny guy.
That voice sounded kind of familiar, but who is that?
It could be me. That's how I feel right now nowadays.
Yeah.
So I think that's my favorite one.
That is kind of a load. That is a big deal in comics today. As to where comics are headed, I will say this. I don't read. I haven't read Marvel or DC in years because of all of those things they are doing. It became clear to me that they don't care about my dollar. They're seeking a dollar to an audience that's about this big.
Right.
And the thing about it is, here's the deal. Sales reflect it. You cannot lie when it comes to numbers. And the truth of the matter is, Marvel and DC both have never sold fewer comics historically. And DC goes back to the 40s, Marvel back to the 60s. Historically, they have never sold worse than they do today.
Yeah,
and you can say, "Oh, we're great. It's all good." Well, your sales numbers don't reflect that.
Well, I drink let me get my Bud Light. Hold on. What did you say?
Yeah, Bigwig said the new guys didn't create the characters, so they don't have a love for them. They're not invested in them, so they don't care.
And especially if they come in and never having read them or anything. And part of the advantage is you get someone like me, for instance, to come in and hire me to edit Spider-Man. Oh my goodness, I love Spider-Man, and I can tell you, independent comics. There you go, right there.
Just like independent wrestling.
That's right. That's right. So I will add that while mainstream comics are at an all-time low, independent comics are doing fairly well. We need more people to be aware of independent comics, and we need more people to be aware of the independent comics made by the non-superstars. Like, you've got some superstar guys out there that are doing great work, right? But they do so little work in such a long period of time, right? It takes them a long time to do one thing. And they generate a lot of money, which I'm absolutely happy for them, and I think they deserve it. These are all independent guys that are they buck the woke system. But you got also a lot of smaller guys that don't have the kind of names that some of these bigger independent creators do. We need more people to know about those guys, right?
Well, didn't Todd McFarlane do something like that? Kind of veer off.
Todd McFarlane did a
was it Image?
He did Image. He did a remake of Spawn with a new toy. Yeah, so the comic wasn't new, but the toy was new, and he made like $1 million. It was a crazy.
Wicked smart.
Boom Comics did Berserker, and I want to say they made something like $7 million. It was crazy how much money Berserker made.
They were the ones that did the Sirens series with George Perez that I was in. Boom Studio.
Boom. Did you actually talk to anybody at Boom?
Well, I just George.
I don't know how to spell Berserker. They leave out all the vowels. Berserker.
Yeah. It's Viking.
While you're doing that, I wanted to share this page here. I found this. on the internet. This is Roland Mann's Rambling Web Blog. What is going on here, brother?
Yeah.
So is this a daily blog? No, May 24th
No,
was the last time.
it's not. I try to do it about once a month now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I talked about adaptations in that particular blog entry because someone had asked me once before about adaptations, and I was like, well, not that Silverline wouldn't do them, but when I, as a writer, I don't want to sit down and want to do an adaptation. I want to write my original stuff,
Right.
So
an
Word Demon, you should find that.
If you keep scrolling, I got.
Sorry. I got it back. I'll bring it back.
I was gonna say I got a funny story to tell you about that.
Sure. Let me bring it back up.
If my employers are watching, I might get in trouble. But
where are we going?
So I should be.
No, they shouldn't be.
No, they shouldn't be. Yeah.
Tell me when to stop, sir.
No, I'll tell you when to stop here. It's when I go. There we go, right there. All right. So, what year was that? What's the date on that one there?
It is March 5th, 2019.
Okay, so in 2018, this is the first time I ever took a vacation here at Full Sail. My wife said, "You've always wanted to go to Arlington Cemetery because of Robert E. Lee. I would love to see his home." And so she says, I'm taking you to Washington, D.C. So I went to Washington, D.C., and I got to visit, anyway, I wrote a blog about it. A student who was making poor grades in my class found my blog, complained that I hated women and minorities.
What?
Because of this blog entry. And so I had to remove my employer's name.
Wow, really?
Yes, I did. They said, we're not going to make you remove the blog. I said, good, because I'm not going to do it. And they said, well, you just need to remove that you work where you work. And so I did. I went in and removed that I worked where I work. And yeah.
History is not there to pacify us. It's to be used as a cautionary tale so that some things we can learn from and some things never happen ever again. And people can't seem to grasp that fucking concept.
Yeah.
It's not there to make you comfortable.
Right.
It's there to teach you something.
Right. Exactly.
And if you feel uncomfortable about it, that's what you should pay attention to.
I mean, what's the famous quote? Those who forget history are condemned to repeat it.
Exactly. AB Twitch wants to know, Roland, did you ever hear of an Image comic called Alex plus Ada? Wow.
I have heard of it. I don't recall having read it, though.
Okay. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I do read a handful of Image comics. Some of them a little too out there for me. But I do read a handful of Image comics. They're probably the premier independent comic publisher until Silverline can take over that.
I was about to ask. I was literally about to ask, who would you consider like some of the top, besides Silverline, obviously, which is the best? What would you consider some good alternative comics that you enjoy reading?
Yeah, and where can people find these to support them?
Yes.
Somebody said I've seen shirts that say support independent artists, movies, wrestling, and music and comics.
Yeah. Those are great. I think there should be more of that out there. And so here's what I think is cool. I think, the generation that exists today, the generation of students that I see coming into my classes today, I think they're more apt to do that. My generation, when I first got into comics, one of the things that what happened to me is I would go to a show, right? This is late 80s. I would go to a comic book show and people would come up. Oh, you write comics? Cool. What do you do? Oh, well, here's the comic that I write. Oh, do you write any Spider-Man? No. What about Superman? No. Oh, so well, I only read Marvel and DC, and then they walk off. And I'm like, well,
that's when you give them the $5 face slap, dude.
Yeah. That's the sound effect you need there.
I should have one there.
Yeah, and so that was extremely frustrating for a good chunk of my early career because my generation that if you didn't write Marvel or DC, they didn't really care. Now I find, and I don't know all the reasons. I suspect it's because we have the media, we have games, so many, 18, 19, 20, 30-year-olds, they've seen the movies, they've played the games, they really have no interest in the comics. Plus, here's the other thing. Plus, they go to the comic shop and they're like, what's all this agenda stuff all over? This is not the movies that I just saw, right? What's all this agenda stuff? I don't want this, right? And they seem to be more open to trying independent comics. It's like they don't look for the Marvel and DC logos anymore. They just look to say, hey, does this look cool?
Do I like this?
Do I like this?
Right.
Yeah.
See,
I like that.
I remember as a kid, and by the way, I do have a soundbite, kind of like a slap. How's this work for you?
Ow!
Roadhouse.
Anyway,
And that works.
that works.
That works.
I remember going to this place. I don't know if I will guarantee. You're not from New York, right?
No, I'm not. No.
But I guarantee you know
With that accent?
Right.
But you've probably been to New York. I'm assuming, no?
Yes, I've been to New York a couple of times for editorial meetings at Marvel.
Have you ever heard of this place called Forbidden Planet?
Yes, I've been there. One of the few places in New York I've been.
So I remember me and my buddy Ivan, we used to actually go to Forbidden Planet and just walk into the back. I don't know if it's changed. It's probably changed. And just you walk in, it's like a library. You smell the books and you smell the plastic covers and everything. You kind of just sifting, sifting and trying, oh, this shit looks cool. This looks cool. We just pick stuff up. We find a gem here and there. Are kids still doing that nowadays? No. It's a shame.
No, it's not. And this is one of the biggest problems with the industry today is the distribution. The distribution model is broken, and I don't know how to fix it. And I think that's part of the problem. No one really knows how to fix it. I mean, I have ideas, and I know a lot of people have ideas, but the problem is this, right? So you probably also remember, and I'm speculating a little bit on your age here. You probably also remember that you could go to the grocery store or you could go to the 7-Eleven, buy a candy bar and the spinner rack, right? Yep. That doesn't exist anymore, right? You could buy.
God, I forgot about that.
I'm almost 50, by the way. Yes, I'm 47.
Yeah, okay. So you absolutely remember those then. Yeah,
absolutely.
So the spinner racks are gone. You can't find them at the convenience stores. You can't find them in the grocery stores. And
7-Elevens too and stuff like that. They used to have like the news against the back. Everything from nudie magazines to comics to workouts.
Wrestling magazines.
Yeah. It went from Hustler to Superman.
That's right.
Awesome, dude.
That's right. Yeah. And they were always wrapped in the brown bags at the top.
Yeah.
The good old days.
And that's the thing is that you could, they were impulse buys, right? You could get your gas, you could buy your milk, you could get your beer, you could buy a Coke, candy bar, and you can get comics, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. If you want a comic book today, you either have to intentionally get in your car and drive to a comic shop to look at comics or order it online, right? Kickstarters are great. Order it online or what's up?
That's Jamie.
Okay. What's up, Jamie? Or go to a comic book convention and buy them from creators there.
Yeah.
So the impulse purchase, the fact that you could find them in a lot of places, that's gone now.
You know what it is too? A lot of times if you're traveling or you're doing something, you're sitting there, like say you're taking public transportation. You're sitting there on the train, you're reading a comic book, right? But now people are just looking at their phones all the time. They're always like phone. Yep. And the phone
TikTok
has replaced, exactly. The phone has replaced all the reading material.
Yeah.
So they're, our attention span has been hijacked by little bits and pieces of things like clips, like YouTube videos and TikTok and doom scrolling on Instagram. And we don't have the attention span, I think, anymore to page through an entire book. I found that I'm a freaking writer and I have a hard time reading a book now. Like my attention span is fractured and it drives, I hate that.
Yep.
It's embarrassing to admit. I hate that.
I am struggling. I'm trying to read now a book that I've never read that I should have. The Picture of Dorian Gray, right? Okay. Which is a classic literary work, and I don't know why I never read it, but I had the book, and man, I'm struggling to get through it. It's just
Menticide. We have
Yeah.
menticide going on.
Yeah. But man, give me that TikTok. I'm just gonna sit there and scroll through that TikTok.
Right?
Ugh. You know, I'm gonna read
Instagram.
this.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm gonna read this from Winona real quick, guys, if you don't mind. It says, any tips
Yes.
on
Oh,
getting
absolutely.
started on doing comic style illustrations, lettering? I'm not much of a writer, but I've always loved and I have to tell you right now, this young lady is very creative.
She's a good artist.
Super cool artist, super creative. And did I mention one of our favorites? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So
tell them about the lettering. The lettering.
Yeah, so absolutely. So here's the thing I will say though: if you're an artist and you don't feel like you're much on the writing, you are in great shape.
Yep.
Because there are writers out there all over the place who are seeking and searching for artists. Now, the good news is that you can be particular, you can be picky. Don't just hook up with the first writer that comes along because you think, oh, this is the first writer that comes along. You can always say, hey, writers, post, on your social media, hey, writers, here's an example of my art. I'm looking to collaborate with somebody. Send me what you got, right? And the writers will, trust me, writers will come out of the woodwork and send stuff to you. You want to draw something that you want to draw. As far as illustrations, yes, there's a couple of things I would say. Number one, you probably already know this, is draw every day.
Mm-hmm.
Does not matter what's going on in your life. If it's something that you want to do, you will find time. Draw every single day. Now, comic illustration in particular, one of the things you need to do is tell stories. So you are looking to tell sequential art, right? Your art is not just not like just you would find in Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys, right? It's just an illustration of a scene, right? Your images have to tell a picture, and they have to move the image on the eye. I can send April a handful of recommended books for you to check out to help you with that. But it's not enough just to draw a picture. Your pictures have to tell a story. You want to go.
I'm going through. Oh man, brother, I did my research. Are you kidding me? I'm just looking at some of your beautiful artwork here as you describe how to paint a picture.
Yeah. And these are assorted panels from upcoming projects that I'm working on. The cat and mouse one there probably is going to be my next Kickstarter, which will be June, August. So yeah.
You have a lot of cat and mouse books.
I do. Yeah. It was the first series I did that had any kind of popularity at all. It was in the I did it in the late 80s, early 90s. It was voted the top 10 black and white comics for about half of the run.
Oh.
The highest we ever got was number 4, which I was pretty proud of. And so a lot of folks always that's what they ask me. Hey, where's Cat and Mouse? You doing new Cat and Mouse? Well, by gum, I sure am.
Any inspiration from Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse?
No, I don't even know what that is.
What? Oh, my friend, I need you. All right, write that down. Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse. They were a series of shorts, short cartoons they used to play on the weekends. And they were, I think, maybe 10, 15 minutes long. And I think you'll have a lot of fun watching these very old, they're in color cartoons, cool. Very old. And the bad guy is a frog who talks like this. Yeah, see? I think you'll love him.
That sounds great.
But this is beautiful artwork, man. You are extremely talented.
Someone asked if writing books considered art. Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
I would say yeah. So to be clear, now I didn't do the artwork, right? I'm the guy who writes the stories for the artist.
Well, whoever is the artist is an incredibly talented artist.
And I have been very, very fortunate to work with a lot of very talented artists.
You're this handsome guy right here.
Yeah, I consider myself very lucky to have worked with a bunch of very talented artists. One of the things I found in my career, it was not something I set out to do, but one of the things I found in my career is that I would find an artist and work with them, say do a mini series with them, and then they would go on to do great things. They would go on to work at Marvel and DC. And, so really one of the things that I found that I enjoyed is discovering new artists. I like to find new talent. That's a panel from issue 3 of my comic called Trumps.
I love this.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but it's like my spirit animal.
That's the Jack, and the king has just been killed. And so the king of diamonds has just been killed. So the Jack of diamonds is now the new king, and he's trying out the seat.
I love this.
That's exactly what it looks like too.
This is so badass.
And hi, Colin. Colin is asking, is Chasing Amy the comic book artist's movie of choice?
I would have to say probably yes. Only because there's so many in jokes, and there's a couple of comic creator cameos in there. I know Ben Dunn from Antarctic Press from AP is in there. Jimmy Palmiotti is in there. I think Joe Quesada is in there. Joe ended up going on to become the editor-in-chief at Marvel for many years. So there's some comic cameos, but there's also a lot of comic in jokes. One of my favorite comics in jokes in that movie is probably the joke about, or the long-standing joke that inkers are just tracers.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah,
that's not fair. That's not cool.
Now that Joker's wild there. That's what our we got a Trump's T-shirt of that.
I like this, man.
Yeah,
this is so badass, man. Now I feel like an asshole for not reading comics. I really do.
You should, Ray.
You know what it's like. It's almost like revisiting something I really loved as a kid, and or maybe like finding like an old love. And you just bump into this young lady or young man after like 40 years, and then you realize how much you truly cared about that person. This is what I'm experiencing right now during the show.
They say, okay, so a lot of people are stressed out and tired.
Yeah.
And they say a way to get through your burnout or depression or stress out is to think about the things you did as a child before money got in the way, and go pick a couple of those things, write them down, pick a couple of those things, and go back to doing those things. So if comic books was one of those things, go back to doing that thing.
Yeah.
To the thing, because that's who you were.
How about I do this for your folks here?
Mm-hmm.
How about anybody that that follows me on Instagram as a result of seeing this show, drop me a message and say, hey, I saw you on the A show. Send me my link. I will send them a link to one of my comics. And that they can download and read. I will probably send to everyone Cat and Mouse, because that's the one that I'm going to be pushing here soon. But if you'll follow me on Instagram and drop me a note that just says, you don't have to say much. Just say, hey, saw you on the A show.
That's awesome.
I will send you a link to download a PDF of Cat and Mouse #1. I'll send it to you too, Ray.
Yeah, cool. I actually gave you a follow already.
Okay, cool.
That's already done.
For those of you who are listening on podcast or Apple, Podbean or Apple Podcasts, it's the Roland Mann, TheRoland MANN. You can go to Instagram, look that up.
And then don't forget also on Twitter. I mean, on Twitter, it's at Man Roland.
MANNROLAND.
Yeah. So on any, how about this? On any of the platforms, if you newly follow me, just drop me a line so I know that's that you heard me on the A show here, and I will send you a link to a comic.
Get some free stuff, you guys.
That's right.
Reignite your passion for comics.
That's
again.
right. You gotta remember that the comics are cool, right? And they're not just for kids, right? Which is one of the things that are there, and they're not all stupid, right? Some of them are, right? I mean, clearly we were talking about Marvel and DC earlier.
But there's good stupid and there's bad stupid,
right? Yes,
right. I mean, Spider-Ham.
And that's silly. So there's
the boys,
silly and they're stupid.
Oh, the boys is you dare. The boys is awesome.
Right.
I love the boys, man.
I know.
War Demon would like to know, can he show you some of his writing for his comic?
Possibly. Depends on what it is. So and you'll have to, April can attest to this. even though it's been a few years since she's been in my class. My problem is simply one of time.
Yeah.
If you're sending me a full script, I probably won't have time to read it. If you want to just send me a couple of pages of your script to look at format and whatever, I'll be glad to do that. I can look at a couple of pages and comment on your format.
See, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah,
because I don't have time for anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, and that's the problem. Well, here's the deal: I work a full-time job, right? Which I don't hate, but I work a full-time job. When I'm not working my full-time job, this is what I like to do. I like to make comics, and I have a family. I like to spend time with my family. So time is absolutely of a premium.
Mhm.
And so what happens is someone sends me they send me a 50-page script, and I'm just like, I don't have time to read it. It's not that I don't want to. It's just like, I don't have the time. And so so if you want to send me a little synopsis that just a 2-page, hey, here's a synopsis for my story,
like a sizzle reel almost.
Yep, I can if that's what you want, just kind of feedback on the idea. I can do that. If you're, again, a lot of times people just want to know, hey, is my format correct? I only need 2 or 3 pages to see of that to comment on your format. Now, if you have a comic book done, I would be glad to read your entire comic book, because I always find time to read comic books.
That's awesome.
So yeah. If you just want to make sure you're doing the right format, sure. And reach, and I'll send you some script samples too.
That's cool.
That's cool.
That's cool.
There you go, War Demon. And you might want to look up Roland's blog as well, because he had some interesting stuff on there.
I did have something, about writing.
Yeah, I saw some things on there that might be helpful to you as well.
So
hi, Chowny Man, and good night. Good night to Top Wolf Automotive. Thank you for coming out this weekend.
So we got a little under 15 minutes left for the show. Anything you guys want to touch base about, April?
I was just letting Roland go with it. I mean, I was one of these days we're going to get into menticide, mass psychosis, and if anybody can actually truly fail at anything. So my theory is we are where we're supposed to be, and the failures are lessons.
Oh yeah, it's like wisdom.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like destiny too, as well?
Yeah, if you think that everything's supposed to happen for a reason, then a lot of people are like, "Oh, we failed at this relationship, this marriage failed."
Well,
I don't know about that.
Well, and I would also say that even if you have faith, doesn't mean that you can't also believe in that, right? Because if you have faith, as I do, then you can say, well, this is where God intended me to be, right? And so destiny, faith, whatever, I think I'm a big believer in that, actually.
Yeah, I am. Well, it doesn't. I would say whether you believe in faith, or whether you have faith or believe in fate, whether you think we all came from Adam or Adam, ATOM, the concepts are still similar when it comes to energy and things like that.
Right.
So if you think back to all the times that you went through like the absolute worst shit ever, the most stress ever, and then realize that this is where I had to be to get to where I am, where I was right after that, or where I am now. Was it a failure? Did you go through failure? Or was that just the pressure that helped form a little bit more of a diamond?
Well, so think about it this way too, right? As a writer, what is when you're writing and you're working on a character, what's one of the things that almost always has to happen to strengthen that character?
Oh, some type of a disaster, failure.
Yes.
Of course, to build character.
To build character, to build strength, to build the determination that
the hero's journey.
The hero's journey, right?
I mean, it's just like you and I were both believers. My father was a pastor, just so you know that.
Oh, cool.
He passed away in 2011.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Actually, I'm not trying to bring it down, but actually today was the day that he passed away.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But you know what? My father affected a lot of people super positive. My father was a big believer in wisdom, and he thought that failure and trial and error was a big part of being a human being and learning from it and developing your persona and who you will become eventually in God's eyes.
Yeah.
And you know, even and we're not being preachy here, but even Jesus Christ had to go through, you know, certain things where, you know, I mean, he did get nailed to the cross, and
That's right.
you know, for the ultimate, you know, for the ultimate sacrifice in order to, you know, save us as humans. So, but even, you know, going into comic books, you know, like you were stating, you know, Superman. Let's use Superman as an example. Superman is the ultimate, like, freaking, you know, badass, you would say.
Right.
But even he has his weaknesses, and even he had to learn from his weaknesses. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Kryptonite. I mean, you know, you can't think about Superman without thinking about his, you know, kryptonite is
his main weakness.
That's right. Yeah, and I think
and his girl.
Oh
yeah, of course,
she's a weakness, just like my wife is my weakness, baby. Is that right? She's a
but no, I think you're right. I think that when you experience trials, tribulation, hardships, failures in your own life, you come out of it on the other side changed, you know, in some form or fashion, with more experience, more wisdom. You know, I dare say maybe stronger in some aspects, right? So I absolutely believe that failures, while they are failures, are not necessarily failures in the way we think of failures. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
His boobies.
That's my wife's. But I'm always telling my wife, I love my wife. For those that don't know, I absolutely, and I think she has the best breast in the world. And I tell her that all the time. They're incredible. I love them. Anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're over here talking some serious stuff, and Colin, you son of a bitch.
Anyway. Right. Always that guy. All right.
Jesus Christmas. But anywho, but yeah, man, comics, man, like I said, I think April was saying it's pro wrestling, comics, what is it? Religion. It's all like the same. Oh, politics, cheese and crackers. It's all the same stuff. Like it all. You have your ups, you have your downs, you have your good guys, you have your bad guys. That's why, you know, when you were saying that, you know, how can you grow out of comics? Comics is life. It's life.
Yeah. You know, it's just a format, right? It's just film is a format. Books are format.
Read that. It's so freaking true.
Puppy. Oh,
yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. But no, well, she loves animals, as we.
I tend to take on the difficult ones, like
I got
the
you.
ones that are crippled or paralyzed.
Sure.
Or, that's
have
me.
like one eye and stuff.
Yeah.
My uncle's wife is that way.
Huh?
My uncle's wife is that way.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw this comedian define like a liberal or a conservative, and it was like liberals like, oh, let the three-legged dog live, you know, and the conservatives like, no, I want a four-legged dog, and then the liberals like, yeah, but the three-legged dog really needs help, and the conservatives like, well, who's gonna walk it? And I was like, well, shit, by that definition, I'm definitely a liberal. I'll walk it.
Who's gonna walk the three-legged dog as it continues to walk in a circle?
Who's gonna walk through the
Get a wheelchair. You get a wheelchair for it.
Fine.
Or cart.
Damn it.
Anyway.
Fine. Go ahead, April. I'm sorry.
No. That's it. That's why I was just laughing.
I'm just really enjoying our
Big
conversation. This is so much fun. Is there anything? So look, we can pretty much wrap up, April, if you want. But I would, if there's anything you wanted to throw in there, April, or you know, if Roland would love to, you know, give like a word of wisdom or something profound that's going to change everything in our lives in one sentence. No, I'm kidding. Anything you guys want to jump into?
Well, I'm going to give you real quick a list of energy takers versus energy chargers for you for this coming week. And then Roland is going to tell us everything we need to know on where to find them and what to support them in.
And the mystery of life, the answer.
And the mystery of life.
I'll give you the mystery of life.
Oh, cool.
So I saw this and I thought it was interesting because a lot of people are overworked, stressed, tired, pulling too many hours. And we're also kind of falling into, like, I don't want to say the pit of despair, but, you know, we're falling into habits. So here is a reminder of what is not working for you or what you need to limit and what was probably going to work for you, in addition to going back and doing the things you really like reading comics. So energy takers, people pleasing, too much screen time, too much social media, fear, doubt, and stress, overthinking, clutter and mess, because clutter will wear you down whether you realize it or not. Dehydration and not drinking enough, not eating enough. A lot of people get by on one meal a day. Not a good idea. Even if it's just take a protein drink a couple times a day. Make sure you're getting calories. Junk food, up, down with your sugars, up, down.
No junk food?
No junk food. Minimal junk food. There's nothing you can't have. You just got a minimal, 80-20 rule. Do well 80% of the time. You can screw up 20% of the time.
Okay.
Overworking. Well, a lot of us can't help that right now, but try and minimize the rest so we're not so burnt out. No exercise. Try and make time for it, even a little bit. Even 10 minutes of walking can really pick up your energy. Even when you don't feel like doing it, you'll be surprised. Sitting for too long. Living in the past. Living mindlessly on autopilot mode. And setting unrealistic goals. Like, for example, saying, I can't work out because I need to spend 2 hours in the gym. You don't. You need to spend 15 minutes in the gym. You can get a good workout in 15 or 20 minutes. So here's energy. Here's how to recharge your battery. Energy givers. Sunlight. Making sure you eat and eat quality food. Getting some exercise in. Water, hydration.
Pizza.
Fresh air. Actually, pizza's not that bad for you.
Oh, thank God.
It's not that bad for you. Yeah. And I wouldn't get the Chicago deep dish, but
No.
Pizza's an acceptable food.
Oh,
Hamburgers.
Oh, yeah. Hamburgers, I would ditch half the bun, but
I like the meat of the hamburger anyways.
Yeah. I'm gonna high five Roland.
Yeah, there you go. Fresh air, get outside into nature. Okay. So when you're feeling burned out and overwhelmed, the solution sometimes isn't not working, it's nature. So prayer or meditation, taking deep breaths, like a lot of them, like in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4 types of breaths.
Not if you're in New York right now, though. Just
not in New York right now, but yeah, maybe if your apartment has air conditioning, do it right there. Love and intimacy, a little sexual healing there. Petting your pets, laying on the floor, hanging out with your dogs. Meaningful connections. Get together with your friends. Have them come over. Have a game night. Go see a movie together. Go have lunch. Self-care. Self-care could be anything from doing some skincare to masturbation. Whatever it works.
Oh wow! Hello.
Sorry, I'm just saying. Positive affirmations.
Did you call me honey?
Right.
Self-care. And some Colin's saying lettuce wrap hamburgers works too. It does actually. Yeah.
They're actually really good.
They are good.
Don't shit on them guys.
Lettuce
They're
wrap
delicious.
anything is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Proper rest and sleep. I know it sucks because sometimes the only free time we actually have is at night. And, the kids go to bed and you finally get a little bit of time to yourself and you want to stay up, but try to make sure you get enough sleep. Art and creativity. Actually doing stuff that's creative. Even if it's not, if you're in a creative job, doing something else that's creative can sometimes, like, creativity begets creativity.
Right.
So if you're an artist, maybe cook, chef it up on the weekends. Living in the moment and music and dancing. So try and get some of that stuff in if you're feeling like overwhelmed, burned out, tired. Make time for it, even just a few minutes.
Very cool. Well, Roland has promised that he will give us the meaning of life. Ain't that right, Roland?
Absolutely.
Start playing us out here.
42.
Jackie Robinson.
Was that Hitchhiker's Guide?
It is.
Damn it! I said Jackie
the answer
Robinson.
Is 42. That's where level 42 got their name from.
Yep.
That's useless knowledge right there.
No, but I do have a tidbit for you or anyone, and that is just do it. Nike. This is one of the greatest slogans ever. I hear people talk about comic books or making music or writing their novel or draw a painting or whatever, and so many times all I hear is that I'm gonna do this, or I want to do this when, or after I do this, I'm going to do this. And I keep saying, do it now. Stop putting it off and just do it. Do it now. That's my tidbit.
Yes. Can you say it like Arnold? Can you say it like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Do it now.
Do it now.
There you go.
You must do it now.
Yes. Yes.
And don't forget to go over to Roland's social media. Tell him that you heard him or saw him on the A Show, and he will send you a free comic.
So again, that's at Mann, MANN Roland, ROLAND on Twitter and on TikTok, on Instagram, cheese and crackers. It's at the Roland Mann.
Yep.
So give him a follow, send him send him some nice positive thoughts and everything like that. And Roland, I got to tell you, brother, I genuinely enjoyed having you on. I know April
Me too.
did.
I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Definitely. Thank you.
A lot of fun. Anything you want to say? You want to say goodbye to the people, my friends?
No, I'm surprised that April didn't ask me any political or conspiracy things. So
I was,
Not yet.
well, I know. We'll have to bring you back on for that because Roland is a pretty solid. He knows his politics, and he is I don't want to say conspiracy theorist. So he's more of a truth seeker.
So how about this?
Which I can appreciate.
Check this out. So we had Roland on for like an introductory type podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Now people got to know Roland. They got to love Roland. They want more of Roland. So why don't we schedule? You guys can schedule when Roland can come back and we can talk some real deep stuff.
Talk some real bullshit. Hell yes.
I think you'll like what we talk about here, brother.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah,
in the words of
we're fairly un-PC over here.
I don't trust the government.
No, neither do I.
No, I don't think a single viewer that we have trusts the government. No. We have very smart, very aware, awakened viewers who tend to fall right in the middle.
I'm glad you said awakened.
Awakened.
Yeah. They tend to be moderates. So yeah.
Well,
we would love to have you back on.
Yeah, let's make it happen, April. I'm serious.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm dead serious. In the words of the amazing, the mighty Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do when we come all over you? I don't know.
One last question. Where are you going to be appearing next, Roland?
Oh yes.
If somebody can see you.
I will. My next appearance will be at
Put her up there.
Rise of the Phoenix show.
Comic and Toy Fest.
Comic and Toy Fest, which is Saturday, July 15th. Goes from 10 to 4, and it is in Deltona, Florida.
All right, Floridians.
Yeah. So Rise of the Phoenix Comic and Toy Fest, and that's in Deltona, Florida. So I will be there.
All right, so middle of the July, we got a month, but you guys or so.
Yep.
So go see Roland, go see him online, and you guys can see us on Patreon, The A Show. You can see me on Twitter, April Hunter, and Twitter, Real April Hunter. Please follow me. You can also find me on Real April Hunter on Instagram. Ray?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can find me everywhere, all social media at Big Ray Hernandez. And also, you can find The A Show at The A Show Official on Instagram and also at _ The A Show on Twitter. And you can find us here every single Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rumble, on YouTube, on Twitch, on wherever you want us to be. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Roland, you are the man, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thanks, everybody.
God bless you, my friend. Hang out for 1 second after we get off, my friend. We are out. Look at them things bounce. Woohoo! What you do?
Yeah.